Now, when we talk about nutrient cycle, it is important to understand what is happening above as well. So there is not just nutrient and animals and organisms that function together, but there is multiple environmental factors, climatic factors that decide how the nutrient cycle will function out. So biogeochemical cycles talks about interaction between the environment and the organism with respect to multiple factors like gases and sediments. So the gases nutrient cycles or gases biogeochemical cycles are about nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon. So when we talk about biogeochemical cycle, that refers to biological concept, geological, geographical, environmental concepts, as well as the chemicals that are inserted inside. Okay, and then we talk about when sedimentary parts, we are talking about phosphorus, sulfur, and different minerals. So biogeochemical cycles are consisting of internal cycles as well as the outer external cycle with respect to the ecosystem. So there is productivity, we talked about the nutrient cycling, but there is atmospheric input as well as input from the soil and minerals. So when we talk about atmospheric input, we need to understand multiple aspects of environment, which we'll study in detail as well. But the biogeochemical cycle of carbon talks about how carbon moves in an environment. So we understand that carbon's intake and output is controlled by the amount of photosynthesis and the amount of respiration. So these are the major players, right? Photosynthesis and respiration. Apart from that, the combustion, the decomposition, and the runoff also has major portion of intake and outtake in carbon cycle, right? So the major players are respiration and photosynthesis. Apart from that, combustion and diffusion of gases in and around the environment regulates the amount of atmospheric carbon dioxide. Now we know that deforestation, okay, and total fossil fuel consumption also has a major aspect of understanding how carbon functions out. So these are the available, kilotons of carbon that is present and how they are circulated. So this gives an idea about how carbon cycle functions out. Okay, this is a representation to understand how carbon cycle functions out. You can find in these books as well, which I have provided in the drive. Next, moving to nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen is the most abundant gas in the particular system, right? And but the thing is, they cannot be utilized directly in free form. They need to be fixed, and the fixing is done by nitrogen fixing bacteria as well as different organisms, where there is transfer from free nitrogen to ammonium and then nitrite and then nitrate. Okay, so the first group that converts from ammonium to nitrite is nitrosomonas, because ammonium, okay, so somonas, and then there is nitrobacter where it converts from nitrite to nitrates, right? So you can remember this, because if it is one aspect, important aspect, there are a few questions that comes on repeatedly on this. But the basic idea is there is nitrogen fixation that happens, and the nitrogen is one important factor in the entire system because the nitrogen is the base for proteins. So usually is acquired in the form of nitrite or nitrate salts. Then comes phosphorus cycle. Phosphorus is pretty important as well, but it is consumed majorly in form of inorganic minerals, salts, as well as few gases. So it is half-half. It converts as a gaseous state as well as that of the mineralized state. So major portion of and the exchange of phosphorus happens with respect to the rocks and the soil. So major portion of the sediments is being provided with respect to the phosphorus. As you know, phosphorus is the one important factor in which is used in agricultural systems and as fertilizers. The phosphorus is important with respect to that, and hence is usually found in mineralized form. Then sulfur cycle. Sulfur cycle is gaseous as well as sedimentary. Gaseous cycle is usually constructed and formed with respect to the volcanic outputs and the industrial outputs. Majorly volcanic outputs in natural activities and industrial output in commercial or artificial activities. Apart from that, the available sulfur in water as well as in sort of different dead organic systems are utilized by different plants and animals. So sulfur is an important aspect in the chemosynthetic photosynthesis, and it is subject to oxidation, reduction, mobilization, immolation, and movement throughout the systems of water as well as air, as well as within and outside organic systems. So this, up to this, it gives an idea about how different systems like sulfur, phosphorus, carbon dioxide, water moves around. We understand water systems, and we have already studied how water gets evaporated, transported, and so on. So there is oxygen systems and carbon dioxide systems. So carbon dioxide and oxygen go hand in hand. Apart from that, we understood how nitrogen cycle works out and how sulfur cycles works out, as well as phosphorus. So till now we understood different biogeochemical cycles, how they function out, how different aspects of it are circulated within a system and outside a system, or in the entire systems of the world.